So today we're going to be building a fighter for Lae'zel, and well, not necessarily for Lae'zel, but she's a fighter. That's what everything about her represents. And there's actually some little things that she's going to have when it comes to armor, weapons, and whatnot. But like always, if you want for this character to be your main character, there are some little changes that you can make around here and there. The race is going to be basically whichever race that you want it to be. The nice thing about Lae'zel is that she's going to get a free Misty Step at some point while she level up because of her racial. So that is something tremendously amazing, because getting a Misty Step with a fighter, it's always amazing. With any class, it's always amazing for mobility. But the thing is that this fighter is able to do 8 attacks. Yes, just 8 attacks in one turn. Although some of those attacks are going to require for us to have bonus actions. And if we use Misty Step, you're going to be diminishing that a little bit to 7. Like I said, this is going to be very similar to the Barbarian that we built yesterday, with some slight differences. It's not going to have that much sustained damage on itself, because fighters, this is going to be a 200 fighter. That is one of the downside. It's very difficult for 200 fighters to be able to hit some things, so we're going to need assistance from our crew members, from some stuff, to be able to mitigate and void that a little bit. Also, again, like with any multi-class class, it's difficult for this fighter to start shine. The establishment of this build is not going to happen until level 7. On level 7, that is when this build is going to be truly outstanding. That is when the build is going to be established. That is not to say that on the early levels that this build is not going to be efficient, because a fighter, it's a martial class that it's always efficient. So you're going to have action surge, you're going to have lots and lots of things to be able to use this fighter on the early stages of Act 1. And on Act 2, that's when you are really going to be established on itself. So let's begin with the fighting style. The fighting style, we are going to take the great weapon fighting. The great weapon fighting, basically what happens is that when you roll a 1 or 2 on a damage dice for your attacks, that thing gets re-rolled, and it happens with all of the dices that you have. So if you have multi-attacks, all of the dices that roll a 1 or 2, they are going to be re-rolled once. If they re-roll a 1 again, well, that is going to be a bummer. But it's always going to be using the highest number. So think of this thing like a kind of weird advantage that it's happening behind the curtains of everything. If you don't want to care about the nitpicking little things about this thing, just have in mind that you are going to be dealing more damage than less damage with your hit chances more often, and that is beautiful and that is amazing. Now with the ability scores, we are going to be maxing out our strength as much as possible. We're going to have our wisdom at 10 for the saving throws and whatnots. Dexterity, that is not going to be, well, if you want to use medium armor, then you can most certainly use medium armor with your high dexterity. Constitution, it's always nice idea to have extra health, but in reality the only stat that you should be prioritizing, the only stat that you should be caring about is 17, and you can use the quest of Anti-Ethel to pop up this bad boy to 18. Little disclaimer right here, while we are leveling up, we are going to be taking to establish for the showcase of this video, we're going to have 5 levels into fighter and then 3 levels into rogue. What you want to do beyond that point, it's either take 1 more level into a rogue to get the extra feature, and then the rest of the levels into a fighter to get that extra feature again, and possibly if you do the quest, if you do your ability scores on your features, you're going to be able to pop up your strength all the way to 22, which is going to be just delicious, amazing, gorgeous, and beautiful. Now a fighter is a very, very straightforward class. There is not really that many things that you are going to be able to do, and as a matter of fact, as you level up, all of the things that you are going to receive, they are just going to be there, and this is what it is going to allow us to do 8 attacks potentially. If we play our cards right, there's going to be a little of luck involved in here. Not at all times we are going to be able to deal our 8 attacks in one single turn, but most of the times I would say like a 70-80% of the time, depending on the how far the enemies are close to one to another as well, because you have to be moving throughout the battlefield. And if the enemy, well, we'll get to that on the little gameplay section of the video. Just have in mind that at level 2 you're going to get action surge, and if you pair this thing up with your extra attack, that's just basically 2 free more attacks. At level 5 we are going to be taking our subclass. I'm sorry, level 3, I'm just dumb, just forgive me about that. Level 3, we are going to be receiving our subclass. We're going to be going with Battle Master because one of the most important things about our class is going to be landing critical hits. We have 2 critical hits on demand because of the items and skills that we're going to be showcasing further in the video. But for now, just do have in mind that the Battle Master has that the champion has a little bit more chance because of the subclass feature, improved critical hit. It's more likely that you're going to be doing critical hits with this fighter, and that is why we're going to be using champion. Now at level 4 we are going to receive our new feature. This is where we're going to be taking our Great Weapon Master. What is the downside of this thing? You are going to need assistance from your crew members, from your party, from potions and whatnot. Just take as much attack rolls as possible, because opposite to the Barbarian that we built yesterday, the Barbarian can use Reckless Attack. Reckless Attack gives you advantage on your hit chance for your enemy attacks. These fighters, they are not going to have that. So you're going to swap your 10 damage. You're going to get 10 more damage for a diminishing return on hit chance, your attack rolls. So what you want to do is choose turning on and off this feature. Remember that this is a passive feature that you can turn on and off at your heart's content, and it's not going to cost you anything. So just be mindful on when you use this thing. It's 10 extra attack, but not use it if you're going to receive such a huge penalty bonus that it's just not going to allow you to hit something. At level 5 we are going to receive our extra attack. Again, we don't have to do anything right now. As for our racial, at level 5 we're also going to receive our Misty Step if we're playing the fighter that we have right here with Lae'zel. And this thing, basically, it's just simple as that. Every time that you do a attack, and it's going to receive for an action. Every time that you do an attack as an action, you're going to get a extra attack, which is not going to stack with bonus action because it would be just too busted. Now at level 5 we are going to be multi-classing into a rogue. We're not going to get anything out of the rogue. Just have in mind that the rogue is going to have proficiencies with sleight of hand. Do you see how I improved my pronunciation right in there? I do read every single one of your comments right there. So yeah, you're going to get proficiencies with sleight of hand, and then also you're going to have the chance to change some abilities in here. So you are going to get expertise as well with your first rank of the rogue, the first level of the rogue. And something that you can do is just take these guys right here. And if this is going to be the case, you can replace Asterion as the rogue of the party, because then Lae'zel is the one that can be taking care of the locks and whatnot. So since we are going to have our rogue right here, it's a nice idea to use our sleight of hand to be able to open the locks that we are going to be needing to open. At level 2 we're not going to get anything important. You can discard completely this thing right here, but at level 3 of the rogue, this is where our build is going to be fully established, because at level 3 we are going to receive our first subclass for the thief, which is going to be Fast Hands. Fast Hands is going to give you an additional bonus action. Now remember, great weapon fighting. This thing, whenever we deal a critical damage, we do critical damage, or we kill an enemy, we're going to receive the Great Weapon Master bonus attack, like you can see right here. Critical hit or killing someone will yield us a bonus action. We are going to have 2 bonus actions, so if you land a critical hit and you kill someone on the same turn, you are going to get bonus actions. Meaning that with this character we can possibly deal 8 attacks on one single turn, but we'll get to that later on the gameplay section of the build. Let's talk about itemization, because it's actually rather interesting with Lae'zel, right? Yeah. With the itemization, there's a little bit of different things that you can do with Lae'zel, especially when it comes to the armor. Since we have high dexterity, we are fighters, we have high dexterity, then you can certainly take the psionic ward armor, which you can get by following the quest line of Lae'zel. and it's just an amazing piece of medium armor. But if you are a fighter at the end of the day, so if you want to have the beefiest thing that you can possibly have, which is going to be the highest armor class, then yeah, it's up to your personal preference. So just have in mind that you need to have high dexterity if you want to be using medium armor, and Lae'zel is going to benefit from using the medium armors that the Githyanki are going to offer. Another important thing is that the Githyanki, they are going to receive bonuses, the Githvorn psionic weapon, when you use weapons for Soulbreaker weapons, or basically you're going to be finding lots and lots and lots of Githyanki weapons, and they are going to receive a bonus 1d4 psychic damage, condition damage, so that is always an amazing thing that you can do with our friend Lae'zel right here. Now, just stack a little bit more armor class. This is a cloak that is going to give you +1 armor class that you can get on the first half town on the Act 2. Then we're going to have the Dark Justiciar gauntlets. These guys, they are going to give you 1d4 necrotic damage, which is always amazing. It's just basically the same itemization that we would use for a melee character. The Killer's Sweetheart. The Killer's Sweetheart, this is going to give us a critical damage hit bonus. A critical hit on demand every time that you have a long rest. So this is going to allow us to proc a little bit more often our great weapon fighting to get the 8 actions attacks per turn. Then we have the Caustic Band, which is going to give us a +2 acid damage, and then we're going to have the Brood Mother's Revenge, which is going to give us a 1d6 poison damage every time that we receive healing from someone. So just make sure that you're receiving that healing from a potion that is being thrown at you by a party member, or on the events, the different event that you could have is be healed by a paladin, a cleric, druid, and whatnot. Just do not use your bonus actions, because we're going to be using the bonus actions to actually deal damage. Let's just jump into the gameplay section of the game. So, as for the gameplay, what is it that you want to do with this thing? It's basically pretty straightforward, honestly. You have action search. Action search is going to give you 2 more attacks. And then you have, if you have a hasted character, you have 4 attacks. 1 for your action, and then 1 for extra attack. 1 for your action, and then 1 for extra attack. And then you use your action search to give you a 1 more action and 1 more extra attack. If with all of those damage that you have, you can use your hit chance, your critical hit chance on demand, to be able to get the extra great weapon master damage. And also you should have killed more than enough people with 6 attacks to be able to just basically do that. Get your critical hit. You are a battle master, so you are a champion, so you do have the chance to deal more critical hits. You have your ring, which is going to give you more critical hits, and also you have Luck of the Far Realms, which is something that you can take if you want to insert that little tadpole in your head. This is just more critical hit chance, or just a critical hit on demand, to be able to use as much actions as possible. And a little bit more of advice, like I said, it's very difficult for a fighter to land hits while the fighters have the passive bonus for Great Weapon Master. So usually my advice, what I like to advise people while playing this character, is basically to stack buffs from your party members, like for example Magic Weapon from your Paladin, which is going to give you a +1 to attack rolls. Use the highest possible attack roll that you can use with your weapon, meaning that legendary weapons are always like it's just logical, it's just ideal. You can use less as well from the cleric on your fighter to mitigate a little bit more that hit chance that you're going to suffer. And like always, haste from a potion or a wizard or a sorcerer to get those juicy for extra actions. But yeah, this is basically a very durable warrior, a very durable fighter that is going to be able to do 8 attacks in 1 turn, provided that certain conditions are met. If you like the content, so like and very super appreciated. Remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel before you close the door, and I'll be seeing you goddamn gorgeous and beautiful people in the next one. Have a beautiful day, and goodbye.